Joining us tonight is Citizens United President, former Trump campaign aide, David Bossie. David, good to have you with us. The president is, as you saw there and heard, he is very clearly passionate and committed to justice and finding out why the Justice Department has elements within it that are still acting as if they were reporting to Eric Holder.
That's exactly right. The faux outrage on the left is absolutely ridiculous. They hate this president. They cannot get over his accomplishments, and they're going to continue to hate on him for the next 5 years that he's president. However, when I've been around this town a long time, and when prosecutors go quiet like Durham, and you've heard nothing from him, it's time for those targets, the Clappers and Brennans and Comeys of the world, to get very nervous, because prosecutors get very quiet just before they end up lowering the boom. So we'll see who gets the last laugh, but this president's going to continue. And the Attorney General, the attacks on this Attorney General is ridiculous. Where was this outrage when Eric Holder was Barack Obama's wingman? Where was the outrage when Loretta Lynch was meeting on the tarmac with Bill Clinton? This is outrageous conduct by the left because they have nothing else to offer.
You and I both know why. First of all, it's a closed feedback loop. The national left-wing media remain complicit. They couldn't get away with this for a minute if we had a free, fair, independent press in this country. We do not. We do not. And if there is so much that is obvious now after 3 years' efforts on the part of the radical Dems and the deep state to overthrow this president. Don't you agree?
100%, Lou, and it's the one thing that this president has done that no other president has before him, and that is calling out the fake news, educating the American people on just how dishonest these people are, and it has worked because you could see their numbers are in the tank as the president's rises. So for these folks to be complaining about these 4 prosecutors, these great men at the Justice Department. These are 4 Obama holdovers, folks. One of them worked in the Clinton White House, in the White House counsel's office. One of them worked at the State Department. One of them worked for Obama at the Department of National Security. This is outrageous. These are political prosecutors with a political case, nothing more, nothing less.
You know, the president was asked recently what is his greatest regret over 3 years. And his response was, I thought, absolutely telling, as it was the intelligent answer for a man who is commanding this entire government, and that was personnel. The Justice Department to still be rife with these sordid, politically corrupt attorneys, FBI officials, and agents is appalling. Can anything reasonably be done about it in the near term?
Well, Lou, I certainly hope so.
Because Bill Barr actually it makes it clear that he intends to, but my God, we're talking about 90,000 people.
That's right. It is a lot of people. It's a big job. But just like Robert O'Brien at the NSC, there are going to be reorganizations. They're going to be moving people out. My only regret that 4 people resigned today is there wasn't more of them that resigned at the Department of Justice. We need more of these folks to get out of government. The deep state is real, folks. And this is the one regret of the president, and I agree with him that if the president had come in and had fired all of the Obama holdovers, every single one of them, President Trump's job would be a lot easier to do because he wouldn't have these folks in these positions of power to stop his
my God, when he did fire people, he was met with every kind of fury from the left-wing media, from the deep state, and the radical Dems. I mean, he did about as much as he could do. And when he did fire James Comey, they triggered a special counsel investigation that was just as corrupt as any element of government anywhere. It just compounds itself. Only people that have been found guilty of anything to this point, and David, I keep hammering this, the only people found guilty of anything have been the investigators themselves. They are crooked, they are rotten, and by God, I don't believe for a minute that we've identified nearly half of them.
No, you're exactly right. And let me just say this: where is the investigation of Strzok and Page, as the president talked about? But McCabe had a criminal referral. McCabe had a criminal referral almost 2 years ago. It'll be 2 years April.
Michael Atkinson.
It's outrageous. It's outrageous.
The inspector general. I mean, well, there's suggestions that he be fired. I don't know, but I do know this: the problem is immense, and that Bill Barr is doing the Lord's work as well as that of this great republic.
And he needs to be protected. That's exactly right. He is an independent arbiter. He makes the decisions that are best for the United States.
I heard that independent crap from James Comey. I heard it. Let me tell you something. He works for the President of the United States. He works for the American people. He's not independent by any measure. He is the Attorney General. And I just hate it when I hear independent. He is part of the executive branch, and he, by God, knows his responsibilities. And I'll tell you this: that Attorney General will make the House Judiciary Committee wish they had never heard his name, let alone summoned him to have a discussion in front of their august probe. Can you imagine what that's going to look like? David
that'll
Bossie,
make Corey Lewandowski's hearing look like cakewalk.
It will be extraordinary. David, you get the last word here.
No, I'm excited that Bill Barr is the Attorney General. He must be protected to make these decisions. Because, as I was saying, him being independent, he's making independent decisions that are good
independent
for
of
this
whom?
president.
You go back to that. What's he making
president?
an independent decision about? He has the law. He has the job. He has a president.
And that's exactly my point, Lou. Is that he is?
What's he independent of, David?
He's independent of the deep state. He's independent of those of the bad actors. That is exactly what I was trying to.
Absolutely.
You are much more articulate than I am.
No. I'm right now just a little more revved up, maybe.
No,
David, thanks so much.
I love it.
David Bossie.
Thanks.
Great to see you, my friend.